Okay, let's be honest. It feels like you need a full-time job just to keep up with all the AI news, right? One day it's GPT 4.0, the next there are whispers of GPT 5, and now there's this new name buzzing around, ChatGPT Atlas. So what is it? Is it a new model, some kind of AI robot? The details are pretty murky, and that's exactly what we're going to clear up today. We're going to dive in and figure out what Atlas really is and why it might actually be a much bigger deal than any new model. I can almost hear what you're thinking. A browser? Seriously? All this buzz? For another web browser? And you know what? That's a fair question. With everything going on in AI, it's so easy to get cynical and wonder if this is just another shiny object. Is OpenAI really just making a competitor to Google Chrome? Is that supposed to be the big revolutionary news? Or is there something way bigger going on here? So that's our mission. We're going to get beyond that hype. We're going to break down what this thing actually is, why it could fundamentally change how you and I use the internet, and, just as importantly, explore the massive, and I mean massive risks that come with all that power. Okay, first things first, let's get the biggest misunderstanding out of the way. According to what we know, Atlas is probably just an internal codename, so don't get too attached to it. More importantly, it is not a new large language model like GPT-4 or GPT-5. At its very core, it's a web browser. But this is where we have to be really, really careful because calling it just a browser completely misses the point. What OpenAI seems to be building is way more ambitious than just a new version of Chrome or Safari. This is the perfect way to think about it. The source material uses this incredible analogy, and it just clicks. Saying Atlas is just a browser is exactly like saying the original iPhone was just a phone. I mean, yeah, technically true, but it misses the entire revolution, doesn't it? The iPhone wasn't just about making calls, it was a complete reinvention of what a phone could be. Well, Atlas is aiming to do the exact same thing for how we experience and interact with the entire internet. So, how is it going to do that? Well, it's built on a few core ideas. First, chat anywhere. Just picture a ChatGPT sidebar that's always there. And, this is the key, it understands the exact web page you're on. So you could be on a super dense 5,000-word article and just ask, hey, what are the main arguments here? Simple. Then there's browser memory. This is an optional feature that lets Atlas remember stuff from other sites you visited. So you could ask it really complex things like, compare the specs of those 3 laptops I was looking at yesterday. But the real kicker, the feature that changes the whole game, is the premium agent mode. And this right here is the most important concept we need to get our heads around today. Agent mode sounds like something out of a spy movie, I know, but it really is the next major leap in AI. This is the part that takes us from asking questions to giving commands. So what even is an AI agent? The ChatGPT we use today is mostly an assistant. It's reactive. You ask it a question, it gives you an answer. Simple enough. But an AI agent, that's totally different. It's proactive and autonomous. You don't just give it a single little prompt, you give it a high-level goal. The agent then has the power to reason, to create a multi-step plan, and to actually take actions across different websites and apps to get that goal done for you. And this example just illustrates the difference perfectly. With an assistant, you ask, what's a good flight to Paris? It'll give you a list of options, sure, but then you have to go to the airline's website, fill in all your details, and book the ticket. In that scenario, you're the doer. With an agent, you just give a command. Book me a nonstop flight to Paris for next weekend and keep it under $1,000. The agent's job is to go out, find that flight, fill out the forms, and complete the booking for you. It acts. You're not the doer anymore. You're the director. See the difference? It's huge. Now, this kind of capability isn't just some cool new feature. It's a strategic weapon. And with something like Atlas, OpenAI is basically signaling the start of a whole new war. A war for control over how we access and use the internet itself. Let's look at the bigger picture here. Let's be perfectly clear about who the target is. This is a direct, head-on assault on Google's 2 pillars of dominance, Google Search and the Chrome browser. But why? Because in the age of AI, the ultimate power isn't just about owning the search engine anymore. It's about owning the AI layer that sits on top of everything. By creating a browser that does things for you, OpenAI is trying to become that essential layer, completely bypassing Google's whole system. And this isn't some isolated move. They also bought a company called Sky that builds AI interfaces for your computer's operating system. The strategy is obvious. Put their AI between you and all of your software. But not everyone is excited about this. This new way of doing things has some critics really, really concerned. The analyst Anil Dash has even called this an anti-web browser. Why? Well, think about it. If the AI agent can just scrape info from a dozen websites and give you one perfect, summarized answer, why would you ever need to click on the original links? His point is that this tech could end up starving the very ecosystem of creators and journalists that it was trained on in the first place. Let's just walk through how this might work. So, step 1, you give your agent a goal, something like, find me the best laptop for video editing that costs less than $1,500. Step 2, the Atlas agent gets to work, scraping data from dozens of review sites, online stores, tech blogs, you name it. Step 3, it pulls all that info together and gives you one clean, concise answer and a recommendation. And that leads to the really critical step 4. The original sites are never visited by you. That creator who spent hours testing the laptop, they get no click, no ad revenue, no visitor. You get all the value, and the creator gets nothing. And this isn't just a problem for creators. It's part of a much bigger picture of revolutionary and, frankly, kind of terrifying risks. Giving an AI the freedom to act on its own in the wild, messy world of the internet, well, it opens up a whole can of worms that, right now, nobody has a perfect solution for. So let's just break down some of the biggest unsolved dangers. And these aren't just theoretical what-if scenarios. These are practical, real-world problems that developers are wrestling with right now. First up is a huge security risk called indirect prompt injection. Imagine a bad website has hidden code that secretly tells your AI agent, hey, while you're summarizing this article for the user, why don't you also pop over to their bank and transfer some money? How do you possibly teach an AI to follow your orders while ignoring malicious orders hidden in the content it's supposed to be reading? Seriously, nobody has fully solved this yet. Then there's the privacy issue. That browser memory feature we talked about, it's basically building a perfect, detailed profile of every single thing you do, research, and buy online. And finally, you've got the ethical and legal nightmares. We've already seen lawsuits over chatbots giving bad, reactive advice. The stakes get exponentially higher when an agent starts giving harmful, proactive advice. So, in the end, we're left with a classic technology story. On one hand, ChatGPT, Atlas, and these AI agents could be the most incredible productivity tool ever invented, saving us countless hours of boring work. On the other hand, they could become a privacy and security nightmare that completely breaks the open web as we know it. It's both revolutionary and incredibly risky. And all of this leaves us with one final massive question to think about. As these agents get smarter and take over more and more of our daily tasks, the scheduling, the shopping, the research, what will we as people choose to do with all of that time and mental energy we get back?